Ash?
Give him these little savings to ants.
He's feeding his little ant friends. You just had a birthday.
Yep.
How old are you now?
15.
15. Very cool. Can't believe it.
Hi, welcome to Thousands Roots. Thank you for joining us today.
Alright, so today we're going to talk about swales. And right behind me is the very first swale that we ever put in. The big swale anyways. We may have put in the hand dug swales first. I can't remember, but right at the same time. Anyways, I'm going to show you this swale, the many mistakes we made, and show you another swale that's a huge improvement, and then concepts for how to do these as maintenance free as possible.
We put this swale in about 5 years ago, and this is what happens when you can't get into it to maintenance it.
So this swale is about 175 feet. It was 177 actually. And this spot here is where we've cleared and we've given this apple tree some love here. Now we're gonna move on down and give some more of our fruit trees some love. So here's what it looks like before we get in here and maintenance this. This is an apple tree right here, hidden in these weeds. So here's what an area looks like after we do chop and drop. What we do is we chop everything around here, and then we actually throw it at the base of the fruit trees. And you can do this with food forests. You don't want to do this in garden areas and stuff like that where you have fruit trees, but you can do it when it's more wild areas. You can do chop and drop. Alright you guys, we finished this swale, this 175 foot long swale, and so all we did around all of them was clear around. I cut off any dead stuff that was damaging the trees or that was damaged, and then we dropped all the weeds and stuff that we cut around them. So that's called chop and drop. And really this would need to be done like 4 times throughout the early summer, midsummer, late summer, and then probably mid-fall. Chop and drop. If you set up your swales this way, if you design and set up your swales this way, that's what would probably need to be done about 4, maybe even 6 times a year. Chop and drop. Because then in the winter, we actually need to come back through here and cut these trees back really far. These are actually a blue false indigo. They are meant to be a support species. Their whole job is to support the fruit trees. So we prune these back really hard in the winter, and that's when we come and prune the fruit trees a bit. And there's a lot to why you do support species. I don't have the time to explain that right now, I'm sorry. Pretty soon I'm going to be offering more permaculture design consulting, and during that time, of course, I'll share the secrets with you. I want to go show you the other swale that we set up a lot better as far as maintenance goes. So come on, check that one out. Okay, now this is the swale we put in here recently, and look at the difference. There's a tree right here, one of our fruit trees right here. Another one, well, another 2. One right here, and then one at the end there. So we don't normally encourage consumerism and unsustainable ways of growing fruit trees, of permaculture, things like that. But in this case, I highly recommend this weed cloth for starting your swales because of the maintenance problem. This swale I dug last summer, so it's been here for about a year, and that other swale, after a year, it was a jungle. It was already just like, and when that happens, you guys, it's like, it takes the fire out of you. You just give up because you cannot win the war. And that's not a good place to be. So setting up your areas in a place, be thinking about how you want to maintenance them. Do you want to maintenance them like by hand like we're doing? And by the way, that's not so much by choice, but by the tools that we have. So we're using the tools that we have. This one, maintaining this by hand, that's not so bad. You know, this is totally doable. And there's two different weed cloths here, weed barriers. One of them is a little more expensive, one of them is a little bit less expensive. So you choose, you know how to do it. As well, the way this swale is dug and the way it's heaped up is totally different than the other one. The other one's much steeper and the mound is more severe. So getting on top of that to then work, that's a pain. This, it's not as steep. The swale is wider. So also the trees then, the roots don't have to go as deep until they hit the native topsoil that was already there. There's just a lot in technique that we've learned over the last 5 years of doing permaculture. And we're learning and we're growing and we're changing and we're testing things and we're trying things and we're seeing what works best. Definitely this swale is way better than the other one. So we have fruit tree. This is all comfrey along the front here. So we have 7 fruit trees on this swale. Some of them are chestnut. So when I say fruit trees, I mean like food bearing tree. You know, chestnuts, few chestnuts on here. Now this idea about when you design things, when you design your garden, when you install your garden, however you set things up, be thinking about the maintenance, you guys. How are you going to maintenance the things you set up? How are you going to maintenance the walkways, the play area that your children are going to play on? You want it to be this nice, beautiful lawn that you have to mow every week? Or do you want to do something else? Just food for thought, you know? So, hope you kind of enjoyed this little mini journey today. It's starting to drizzle on me. Little mini journey with me and the boys today of maintaining our swale and favoring the fruit trees around all the crazy weeds. All right, you guys, please remember to go down to our Amazon link and shop through it. That helps us a lot. Check us out on Patreon if you haven't yet. And you can comment on our Facebook group, Thousands of Roots Homestead Facebook group. I pray blessing over you and yours. And whatever you do it with your whole heart.
River dance fiddle. As fast as you can. Come on.